and welcome to Film Seizure. We are now in week numero 30 of James Bond month here in November. And it's a pretty good one. We have made it to the Roger Moore era, which is, I think, accurate to say that is our 3 Bond era. This is our probably what we got mostly introduced to. We're going to talk about The Spy Who Loved Me. And with me, as always, I have Chuck Moore. Chuck, how's it going?
Party on, Jeff.
Party on, Chuck. Also with me, Jason Oliver. Jason.
Hey.
Doing all right?
Doing all right.
Yeah,
Doing
Chuck kind of threw me off. I was going to make some sort of lame. It's like, yeah, I really liked your uncle's, entry or something with Roger Moore, Chuck Moore. And then he totally threw me off with a Garth and a Wayne's World. So
well, this movie has my first ever car, a 1989 white Ford Probe in it. It's amazing. I'm so excited to talk about my first car.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! And we are off.
One of those triangle cars.
Did you?
Oh
yes,
my God.
It is. Jason, did you ever run your car into the sea?
No, but I ran it out of oil.
Oh, that'll do. Yeah.
Yeah, I killed it.
At that point, you might as well make it into a submarine because it ain't going to be driving no more.
Nope. It was it would not have swam though. It would have floated or sunk. I mean,
Were you like, wait, you have to put oil on these things? You have to get oil? Like you had no
Pretty
idea?
much. Well, I think I knew. I just never did it.
If I remember correctly, you didn't like that car that much anyway.
It was okay. It was kind of a piece of shit though.
Yeah. Welcome to Car Talk on Film Seizure.
My favorite part about it is like the headlights wouldn't always come up because it had the little pop up.
Oh yeah,
headlights.
the little pop up. Yeah.
So if they didn't come up, I couldn't drive it at night, or I had to like get out there and pry them up.
Oh
Yeah.
God. I think you can can't you turn that off on those types of cars? Like not to pry, or not to flip up. You can just leave them up.
If I could, I couldn't. If I could, I couldn't figure out how to do that.
Fair enough.
You need oil for that.
Need oil for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta get that out
No
there with the
oil,
tin can.
no. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Yeah, so this is one that when I did 00 Saturdays a few years back at filmseizure.com, you can still read those reviews. This one landed well on all 4 rankings for the best, for the top movies. That it landed 5th for me. It's number 1 on the theme song, and I'm sure we're going to have something to say about that. It was number 4 for pre-title sequence, and it was number 7 for villain. So it landed and pretty high on all of them.
For villain, are you ranking the main baddie or Jaws?
Yeah.
Or okay.
No, the main baddie. I did not count Henchman in that because otherwise Jaws, Odd Job, all the henchmen would have won out. Because
this is one I think has a much better henchman than it does a main baddie.
We'll talk about the baddie because there's some interesting plot points here.
His motivations are a little like, okay.
Well, he's a weirdo, and the thing is that there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff I'll get to here momentarily.
Under the sea.
I thought he was going to start singing that.
No, me too. It was totally running through my mind.
Yep.
I mean, this one goes way back for me. We've talked about it before, where it's like, gosh, in the summertime when there were no new TV shows, like there was a possibility you'd get a Bond movie either every Sunday or every Monday, and there was a couple of times in the summer where it was like both Sunday and Monday you would get a Bond movie. And this is one that for a long time, my favorite Roger Moore movie was Live and Let Die. As I've gotten a little bit older, and this is one that is just superior. I mean, in almost every way. I assume that this one, if not your favorite Roger Moore movies, would probably be pretty high up there, I would assume.
Oh, I really do like Live and Let Die, though. That's a good one. I was like, is that the blaxploitation one?
Sure
Yep,
is.
sure is. That's a fun one. I don't know. I still might like that one better.
Well, that's fair.
It's got that stupid Sheriff J.W. Pepper in it, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but he's so much better in that one than he was.
He's more reserved in that one, yeah.
Well, it's more accurate as to why he would be there.
Yeah.
Like instead of just running into him like you do.
Right. Yeah, that was so stupid, the cameo thing.
Yeah, because of course he would be in like whatever, Thailand or wherever it was.
I do like Live and Let Die. I do, and I like that theme song a lot too.
Well, of course. I mean, yeah.
Anyway.
Live and Let Die is still 8th in my ranking.
Right. It's
so. I mean, it's still up there. It's slipped down considerably over the last 30 years or so. But anyway, Chuck.
Yeah.
Of the Roger Moore movies, which one? This one I assume would rank relatively high, if not top.
Yeah, it's certainly up there. I haven't seen all of them very recently. Like I haven't seen Octopussy in ages, so I wouldn't even know. But yes, this is good and one I remember pretty well from back in the day.
Yeah.
The last two Roger Moores I don't like very well. Octopussy and A View to a Kill.
He's starting to show his age at that point.
But the rest of them I like quite a bit.
I mean, I can't believe you like Man with Golden Gun.
I fucking love Man with Golden Gun.
Oh my god,
I love it. I love that movie.
Oh my god,
it's so crazy. I don't know. I love it.
Okay. Anyway, well that is a little bit part of my background. Do you guys want me to get to that, or do you have anything you'd like to talk about first, or
what go for it. Go for it.
Okay. So this is kind of a good example and maybe the best example of the Bond series, like where there was really something kind of special made through like a ton of adversity in the mid 70s at this point. It's so if we back up a little bit, because the last time we talked about the Bond movies, we had 69's On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which was not a very good hit with either critics, fans, or box office. It kind of flopped. I mean, I wouldn't say it flopped because it still made its money ultimately, but it didn't do very well at the time, and that encouraged them to make whatever deal is necessary to bring bring Sean Connery back for one more movie. And Sean Connery, this is a discussion maybe for another day, but and I think we've probably have touched on it, but Sean Connery's, being James Bond was great for Sean Connery, but it was also horrific for his career. It took a long time. Like when he made Zardoz, he was making that on like a nothing paycheck. It really wasn't until a year or two later when he did The Man Who Would Be King that things started to turn around for him, and he was able to kind of finally shake Bond. So he wasn't loving it. He didn't really go well with the fame. But then they brought in Roger Moore, and Roger Moore is kind of an interesting example of, here was a guy who was already pretty well known at the time that he took over Bond. Most of the Bonds were not globally well known when they took the role. Even Pierce Brosnan is really only best known by us because we grew up watching, Remington Steele. So he really, what made him famous and more famous when he finally took over for GoldenEye was because of the story of him missing out on Living Daylights. So anyway, when Roger Moore took over, they did a thing that is also kind of common with a lot of Bonds back then, which was when a new actor came in, they didn't really change the script they had already had the script written before they hired him. So Live and Let Die and The Man with the Golden Gun, they were really trying to make this much more proper, much more British kind of gentleman actor, more into the rugged Roger Moore style, particularly in the Man with the Golden Gun. I mean, he's slapping Maude Adams around. He's a little rougher in those first two movies, even though the director of those two movies were both like, don't try to think about who you're replacing, just play this role yourself. But while Live and Let Die was a success, probably mostly due to Paul McCartney, it's still played on the radio today. Like, people are like, oh, that's a James Bond movie, I should go watch it.
It's a hell of a theme song.
It is, and there's a whole story behind it, but maybe someday we'll talk about Live and Let Die more directly. But The Man with the Golden Gun was made 1 year later, and I believe, and I didn't do the background on this just because I didn't watch that movie, so I didn't have a reason to. I believe they wanted to do a movie the very next year to solidify Roger Moore as Bond, because they couldn't go back to they couldn't go back to Sean Connery. This was the guy now. So they immediately followed that up, and it was rushed. It just didn't go over well. It didn't go over well with people. It didn't make as good of money as the two previous to it. So they were like, okay, with this third one, Spy Who Loved Me, we have to kind of take a different approach. This is now Roger Moore's show. We can't make him into Sean Connery, and we need to kind of modernize a lot of this. So they started with the script. Now, the script, this is probably the biggest departure from any Ian Fleming book, because there was a little clause from Ian Fleming's contract that said you can use the title, but you cannot use anything from the book plot-wise. Why that clause existed, I have no idea.
That was just for this movie?
Yes. Or it may have been for some of the other stories too. Like, I know like Octopussy and Living Daylights are based on short stories. So, but it kind of broke the mold where it's like, oh, we can kind of just take the title and do our own thing. And they had a bunch of people try to figure out, it's like, okay, well, how do we do this then? What's the story we want to tell? And one of the people who initially was brought in to write a treatment was Anthony Burgess of Clockwork Orange fame. Another person was John Landis, who was a young up-and-coming writer and director by that time. So it was the treatment that they kind of liked the most was Jerry Anderson's, because the treatment that he wrote was originally going to be for a Moonraker movie, but they said, you know what, that works well enough. We're going to take that. And then Richard Maybaum and Christopher Wood ironed out the final script. We'll bookmark that, because we're going to come back around to that discussion of those two movies, Spy Who Loved Me and Moonraker, plus a third movie. But the one thing they did take was there was a character in the book that was named Horror, who had metal teeth. And so they took that, but they didn't call him Horror. They called him Jaws. And they were like, oh, this will be fun. The person who designed the Jaws teeth, anybody want to take a shot at that? Name you're familiar with, that's for sure.
Tom Savini.
The teeth?
The teeth. The person who designed the teeth application for Richard Keel.
John Carpenter.
I would probably guess it's what's his face who did E.T.
No,
That's just a guess.
It's it's Stanley Kubrick's stepdaughter who did it.
I'm not familiar with Stanley Kubrick's stepdaughter.
Well, okay, fair. But the Stanley Kubrick, because she worked for Eon Productions at the time. And she actually also, it was Katerina. She also did the documentary of the building of the 007 stage because they needed to build that for this movie. Because if you haven't noticed, there ain't nothing like that hangar of that super tanker that can ever be filmed like without building a brand new stage for it. It's actually kind of an amazing set in the third act. So Guy Hamilton, who had directed Goldfinger, Live and Let Die, and The Man with Golden Gun, because of a long pre-production and a lot of development hell, he ultimately had to drop out, and they brought in Lewis Gilbert. Now, he made You Only Live Twice. So You Only Live Twice, The Spy Who Loved Me, and Moonraker, all three movies that Lewis Gilbert made, all have pretty much the same plot. It's a giant thing that steals other giant things, and then there's an attempt to destroy the entire population of the planet. But hey, you know what? It works for those three movies. I don't care what anybody says about Moonraker. It works. But the only main difference is that instead of something stealing the space shuttles, it was somebody stealing the Moonraker as a way to kind of start the plot that would lead to Hugo Drax destroying the population of the Earth. But anyway, the reason why this movie went through development hell was kind of twofold at the time. Yes, they did want to do something slightly different. And two, but the two main problems was, one, this was the first movie that was produced by Robert Broccoli by himself. Harry Saltzman, his original producing partner, ended up producing these other movies that were all massive flops. And he had, in order to secure some loans to make those movies, he put up his shares of the Bond production company. And the Swiss bank was like, yeah, pay it back or we take it, basically. And he ended up basically being destitute at that point and ended up selling his half of Eon Productions for only 20 million pounds to pay off his debts. And then he just kind of went his own way, and Broccoli was on his own at that point. So that had to be resolved, and that took a lot of time because there was like a bankruptcy court. There was a concern that Broccoli was going to lose his part of the company as well. It was pretty bad, because he also had to be careful that not somebody would come in and buy more of it and then basically completely and totally take it over. But also the script that they went with for this movie, and this is hopefully the last time we hear this person's name, Kevin McClory, who owned part of the rights to Thunderball, came along and said, you're stealing ideas from a script that I'm producing, and took him to court. And that was a big kind of drawn out thing. And eventually it was deemed that it's like, no, he's, this is not at all like what you say it is. And he was finally out of the picture. He'll show back up later in the timeline making Never Say Never Again with Sean Connery, which really ruffled the feathers of Cubby Broccoli. But that's another story for another time. So basically all of those things is the reason why at the time, it took 3 years for this one to come out from the one before it. I think initially the movie was supposed to come out in 76, but it had to be pushed to 77. And then on top of that, there was all sorts of extra weight put on it, because if this doesn't work out, it is entirely Broccoli's fault at this point. When before he could share the load with Harry Saltzman, At this point, he was all by himself at this point. So he kind of had the producing acumen to say, we got to make this big and we got to make this extravagant. And I think this pretty much knocks it out of the park, because I think this movie shot well. It's got a pretty good opening sequence with a stinger at the end that, you know, everybody is pretty much pleased with. And we'll talk about a little bit more about the behind the scenes when we get there. So there you go. That's the background of the story. It was very much a adversity sort of thing. And Roger Moore has always said this was his favorite of his run. Not hard to see why. And it came out. It happened to come out on 7/7/1977 for the new 007 movie. And it kind of, I mean, in a way, it kind of rode the wave of Star Wars as well. So, you know, I mean, people were at the movies that summer. So that certainly helped out.
For sure.
Who wants to take it from there?
I mean, we should probably talk about the movie itself.
Yes,
right?
Probably so.
This movie has two of my favorite. It has two maps in my favorite Bond video game. The subpen level, which is what is the name of the ship? The Lepidus.
Oh yeah.
Lepidus.
Yeah.
And the Atlantis. Those are both maps in Nightfire.
Oh, nice.
Hands down, the best Bond game. Fuck you, GoldenEye. Nightfire did it all and did it better.
Well, I was going to say,
I don't agree, but
it's better.
The one
so
thing
good.
that it's kind of interesting, because like you could, you know, it's like some people might confuse the one underground level in the player versus player GoldenEye map. That's like a temple. They might confuse that for it's not from this movie. That's from Moonraker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you play with Moonraker lasers, that's the level you'll be sent to if you don't change it. So
interesting.
But anyway, So this movie, this is kind of an interesting movie, because if you notice, this is not a John Barry score. He was one of the tax exiles at the time and could not work on any movie that was made. Well, couldn't work on any movie that the production's home base was in Britain. He was trying to avoid the tax, the high taxes of the time. There's a lot of people like that.
So I read that this is one of only two Bond movies nominated for Best Score. This and Skyfall.
Yes,
were both nominated for Best Score. I'm gonna say something controversial. As much as I love the "Nobody Does It Better" theme song, and I like the incorporation of that song into a lot of the score themes, I don't like this score as a whole, because I really detest Bond 77. I don't like it. The disco-y Bond theme. Yeah. I just don't like it at all. It feels so dated too, and it doesn't really fit the movie. It fits maybe an era, but it doesn't fit the movie.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like a 70s movie.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that where the score is strong is when they're in Egypt.
Yes, it's great. It's great there. The whole sequence with the light show.
Oh, we'll get there.
Which we'll get to that, but I love the music in that sequence.
Well, I was just thinking about like when they go to meet the one guy at the I assume it's like a hookah bar or something.
Mm-hmm. That's good too. Yeah, the music in that whole all of it in Cairo is really
Yeah.
good.
Since we're talking about music, I thought it was cool that the music got submerged when they took the cameras underwater.
Oh
at the
yeah.
end of the open. That
Well, it does
I like
that.
those
It did-
kind of effects.
Yeah, there was that cue, and then there was another one when he detaches the cameras from
And the music goes out.
behind the sky, and the music goes out. Yeah,
Yeah, that was cool too.
I thought that was
Agreed.
cool too.
But that's John Glenn doing that, I think, in terms
Probably.
of editing, at least the one cutting it out.
Yeah, that's
I would-
that's good to be in the sound editing for sure.
Yeah, somewhere in the edit and the editing,
Yeah.
sound and video editing, it's like, hey, we should try this. Oh, it'd be fun.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, it's like the Egyptian music and the I don't even know what kind of guitar version of Nobody Does It Better. When they're kind of bringing it down, you know.
I don't
Right.
Like that's
The Navy sung "Nobody Does It Better" is so god awful.
I did not like that.
yeah.
Thank you, beat me to it, Chuck.
Yeah.
Because I did not like it either.
I mean that's
They transition into the proper version well enough, but I could do without the high
Yeah, it's
seas
just-
naval version of it. Yeah,
You have
Yeah,
such a
it's-
nice, beautiful song. Like, just
Yeah.
play it.
yeah.
It's almost cartoonish. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Bugs would be on the deck of the boat, like Bugs
Yeah.
Bunny.
Boing, boing,
raising-
boing,
yeah.
boing. Yeah.
But this is, and some of this is also, like some of this though is, in a way, this is the start of an era of Bond, for this one and the next three.
It's almost like
Or-
satire of itself, right?
Kind of, yeah, because
Yeah.
like between this one, Moonraker, For Your Eyes Only is probably the most serious, but there's still a lot of like Roger Moore stuff where he's making the joke or something. It's like, okay, but then like Octopussy and View to a Kill, those 5 movies all kind of encompass like, this is where Bond becomes the biggest thing in the world. It was already big, but those 5 movies kind of take it into this other, like, they're almost review proof in a way, where it's like, they are just romps at that point.
People are going to go see them
Exactly.
because they're fun.
And
It
they're they had a tendency to build on top of one another. I mean, the one big difference was going from Moonraker down to For Your Eyes Only, but then it built itself back up again. And so it was like, there was this sense of what we saw last time, something bigger is coming next time. And
This feels like a natural progression almost to Her Majesty's Secret Service, other than maybe the grief isn't really there except for in one scene, but it feels like a brother to that movie in a lot of ways.
well, yeah, because there are two, there's that line, and then there's the scene where stuff is found out, and Bond's like, look, this is our job. And
Right.
it's like, this is we signed up for this, and it's like, however this is going to go down, it's going to be the way it goes down. And it's him almost being at peace with,
And the ski scene, is very much a callback.
sure, absolutely. That's Willie Bogner again, who directed that ski sequence, not the jump itself. He didn't do the jump. That was a different guy.
That was Tom Cruise. I read.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
That was fucking incredible, though.
it is incredible.
it is.
I read that when the parachute opens up with the British flag, that like theaters in England just went fucking nuts.
Yeah, and it was
When
one
that
of those
happened.
things. And the thing was that Lewis Gilbert was like, either they're going to throw their drinks at the screen or they're going to like it.
Yeah,
And they liked it.
they liked it a lot. I think it's a little corny because why would he have like a big, huge identifier
But again,
of what country he's spying for?
But this is
There's lots of people with weird motives in this movie. So.
sure. But this is the we're winking at the audience thing, right? This is the in a lot of ways, it's very similar to a couple of things that wink at the audience in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. You know, the comment about didn't that never happened to
It's
the other fellow.
self-parody in a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you know what? We got this thing with all these crazy stunts and all this crazy. We're gonna have this one's for us. You know,
Right.
but
It's a
yeah,
hell of a stunt. That's a
There's
crazy
so many
It is.
innuendos in the beginning too. It's hilarious. Sorry.
yeah.
I moved on. My bad.
I wanted to circle back around the music though and put a cap on that, because Chuck, you texted me offline about the use of the Lawrence of Arabia theme
Yeah.
and what I thought of that. And my answer is, I don't know, it's fine. It didn't like, it doesn't tickle me and it doesn't make me angry. It's just kind of goofy, right? It's a funny joke. And then I was like, well, I wonder what the story is behind that. There's got to be a story, right? And there is a story. The editors used it as a temp track for that sequence, and it just got every cut they did, new cut they did. They didn't have anything else to put in there, so they just kept it and they kept it and they kept it, and then they just decided, you know what? Let's keep it, and they did.
I mean, it fits the tone of the movie in that self-referential or funny kind of way. So I think I thought I was mildly amused by it. I was like, oh, that's funny.
And it does fit. It fits. Yeah, it made me chuckle a little, right?
Yeah.
And what's interesting too, though, is that at the very beginning of the movie, in the scene with Triple X and her spy lover, who
that's Laura's theme.
Gets shot. From Dr. Zhivago. Yeah. So two Maurice Jarre pieces are used in this movie from two David Lean movies. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
I like how, speaking of that first scene, I like how clever they think they're being and trying to ruse us into the other dude being Triple X.
Oh yeah, that dude is just some
I
schlub.
like that a lot. That's good. It's like it plays with your conventions a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And how you're thinking. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
And I was
because
thinking for the era, it's even kind of more impressive that they did that to you.
well,
I'm sure it threw everyone for a loop. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and the thing is,
He even looks like a Russian Bond, you know? Like, all
Well,
suave,
and she is
got a mission in Austria to get to.
Yeah. But she is meant to be, she is meant to be Bond's equal. And, she's a little bit more uptight about it, but she's also very Russian.
Well, yeah, sense. I mean, yeah, exactly. That's the Russian way.
I want to say this now because you say she's meant to be Bond's equal. I think this movie fails her so horribly. Like half the time she's just standing behind Bond waiting for him to do shit. And it's like, wait, she's Russia's best spy. She's Triple X and she's just standing there being wet in the hallway while they're trying to escape. Like,
right. Well,
do something. Have her do something for crying out loud.
Basically, everything she does in Egypt is kind of her pinnacle. Like when she lets Bond fight Jaws and waits for her moment to take advantage.
Right. I mean,
I agree with that. And Cairo, she I think is kind of one step ahead of everyone, right? Even ahead of Bond. It's when they officially are paired together, or it's kind of like she's relegated to the backseat.
Yeah.
Or she just has like the snarky one-liner, or from that point on. Yeah, she doesn't do a whole lot. You're right, Chuck.
I wish she rescued Bond and saved his life or something like that, right? Would have been cool. But
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But it's a James Bond movie in 1977. It can only do so much, right?
Right.
Yep.
There wasn't enough.
Tricked you once, we're not going to trick you again and make her good
there
spy.
would have been no internet to grift off of her saving Bond's life in 77.
Yeah, exactly. There would be no
nobody to care.
There'd be no
blowback.
Male trolls. Women get the job done. Snarky remarks.
Right.
Yeah.
The incels were being born because of this movie.
Right. Exactly. So it's like we got to load them up because there'll be a Bond movie in 44 years that we got to unleash them onto the world.
We can't let Bond go woke.
So the other thing about that ski, so basically we've got two people that are rushing to the same place, Austria, but it's not the two people that we think it's going to be. It's Triple X is called back to Moscow, and Bond is called back to London, but Bond's got to leave Austria first, and Triple X's lover, which I think is Sergei, because I think most Russian people in these Bond movies are named Sergei.
Yeah, I don't remember what his name is. But
yeah, I know that the head of the KGB is Alexei. I know that. They say that. But
they do say his name. I just can't remember what it was.
I think it is Sergei. But anyway, so they...
it is. Yes, it's Sergei. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it in my notes. It is. Yep.
Okay. So then they send... so he's got to go on a mission to Austria because he's got to kill 007. And 007 leaves a woman in a... And that's, it's like you should know that the Union Jack is coming because she's like, I need you. It's like, so does Britain. He's leaning into that,
but she's a spy, and she lets everyone know, hey, he's leaving the chalet or whatever, which is what I love too, because the beginning of this movie, you've got 4 spies all fucking, right? Yeah. And 3 of them are Russian and 1 is Bond.
Well, I don't know. That girl may not be a Russian. She may just be working.
She's with the Russians. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
2 things about this. 1, when M says tell him to pull out immediately, that's hysterical.
Oh, God, it's so good. It's so good.
2, how stupid are these spies? I mean, she had him right where she wanted him. She should have just killed him.
Yeah, but she's the Red Sparrows. Yeah, exactly. She's not the killing kind. She's like the one from
Keep him occupied.
Then they should have broke in while he was fucking
from Russia with Love.
Yeah, I don't know.
But she could have been collateral. I mean, if they broke in at that point, because Bond deals with some collateral damage later.
But you're right. They could have given her like a poison syringe or something.
Yeah,
no, she's not an assassin. Anyway, it's like, whatever. It doesn't really matter. He's got to pull out
immediately.
So he heads off, and Sergei chases him down the slope. And he skis off of, he kills Sergei. He shoots him with his little
his
ski pole
rifle, which that's a Q special. Holy
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's just all pops out as a little trigger.
That thing's awesome.
Perfect. Yes, it kills him, and then just jumps off a cliff. Now, funny story about that.
Union Jack in tow.
Yep. Funny story behind the scenes with that. So they bring in a guy and they're like, okay, well, we need to find a mountain that's tall enough that you can jump off of. And so they go and they scout it and they find this mountain. And it's like, we need to, and this is John Glenn directing this second unit stuff. It's like, okay, well, there was a storm that came along. And the storm delayed it a couple of days. And at that point, it was like, we got problems because money is being spent. And back home, they weren't aware of exactly what's going on. It's like, we haven't heard back from them. The kid may have decided not to do the jump.
Yeah, I mean, that's when they called the 15-year-old Tom Cruise from the United States.
Yep, and it's like Tom Cruise, and he's like,
we know this kid who can do this jump, and he's gonna kill it, and he did, and it was amazing. And in history, a star was born that day.
Right,
a star was born that day.
So so Cubby Broccoli was like, maybe I should go out there, get in touch with them, figure out, and it's like, so he calls him up, and the guy, I can't remember the guy's name, who did it. I don't know if I wrote that down or not.
I mean, we all know his name. Don't.
It's Tom Cruise.
They might have just for labor laws, they might have had to use a different name, maybe.
Right.
We all know what his real name was.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
so
he was underage. It was dicey, but there was only one person for the job, and it was Tom Cruise.
Right. So he goes out there, and it's like, it's like, if you don't want to do this, that's when the guy's like, no, I'm just waiting for it to stop snowing, basically. And right then, like, basically everything stopped. The skies cleared. and he goes off on his jump, and they have like 5 or 6 cameras pointed at the cliff.
Did they fucking miss it?
5 of the 6 cameras missed it.
Oh my God.
The only one, because what happened was he jumped so high that or like when he launched higher than they expected. So several of the cameras, it went over and then they couldn't find him after that. So the only one that got him, that got the entire shot, was the one that ended up in the movie. And it was like a perfect shot, even though they meant to have all of these different angles. Ended up, they didn't need all the different angles. They just needed the one shot that they actually got.
Oh my God. I can imagine what they were going to do with it, and I hate it. So I'm glad 5 of the cameras missed it.
Yeah.
Because it would have been like changing angles, different.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, it would have cut it all to hell.
Yeah.
So the one shot that they got, which was not even the camera that was supposed to be the master shot, that one missed it. It missed the guy instantly when he flew up higher than they expected. And so, like, yeah, the one that they got just turned out to be one of the most perfect shots in Bond history.
It's amazing. I thought I was worried one of the skis was going to cut through his parachute.
Oh,
like the way it looked. Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
The way it's like falling, yeah. In all seriousness, I'm surprised it wasn't Grant Page who did that stunt. Famous Australian stunt guy.
They asked him, and he was like, "No,
no, go get Tom Cruise."
Yeah,
he's like,
Tom Cruise
I know a
ready.
guy who's up for some risky business.
I'm just like, I'll backflip off that cliff. What do you want?
What do you want?
What do you want?
Want me backflip off the ridge? I'll backflip off that ridge. I'm just trying to think of his line from Last Samurai.
Well, I'm going to pretend you nailed it because I haven't seen that movie in 20 years or however long it was.
It's a little racially charged. When he's asking, like, who do you want me to kill? Basically.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, anyway, I bet you Grant Page would have done it. We've seen Grant Page. He was the killer in Road Games.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Famous stunt guy. Did a lot of stunts in Mad Max.
I like how they cut from that to the Nobody Does It Better open,
like the
which
hands
is
catching
really,
him. Yes,
which is really fucking sweet.
Yeah. Also, there's
get some of that cheeky Bond silhouette nudity. Always like that.
Well, wait a minute though. If you watch it on Blu-ray, you see nips. I think I even pointed that out in the opening sequence when I was talking about that, or the title sequence in the review. It's like, this is the first time, like, you see it. You see everything.
I wish I could remember the movie, because you see somebody's dick in a movie that you clearly weren't supposed to because of
I love it,
like the way that you could see things back in the day. And I'm like, oh, there's
4K is
oh, it was during My Cousin Vinny. You could see what's his name's dick.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, here's my dick. Okay, here's my dick.
But anyway, yeah, it's this is like peak Maurice Bender opening sequence.
It's
like
awesome.
Ballet to the to the song, and it's perfect.
Like when the four women like all like fall backward.
I was just about to say that's my favorite.
From like purple to red or whatever. It's oh my God, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's so good.
So it's good stuff. And then our first real look at at Ken Adams' production design, right out of the opening credits, he's like, Ken Adams, like, M has a very cozy and very compact office. I want the head of the KGB to have basically an entire massive apartment.
It's cavernous.
Yeah. And it's, he looked at that as, this would be, this luxury would be a show of power, sort of idea. And it's perfect. And so, and I do, this is the first time we see the head of the KGB. And he ends up in 5 more movies after this.
This is the first Bond appearance
of this character. Yeah, but it is the actor we saw in From Russia with Love. The same guy that ran Spectre Island.
Yep.
But yeah, he actually
I
shows.
fucking love Spectre Island.
I know, right?
I wish that Spectre Island were like a theme park that you could go
yeah.
to. Oh, it'd be
I
so
hope it's in the
amazing.
shape of the octopus,
Oh god,
like their
it'd be
symbol.
wonderful.
That'd be great.
Yes.
But yeah, so he actually shows a lot of humanity in this because he's going to send Triple X on this mission. But before she goes, he's going to drop some heavy shit on her about her, well, more than friends, as he calls them. You know,
We know about
Sergey.
you and Agent
Sergey.
Sergey.
Yeah.
Sergey.
Sergey. But yeah, but like, you know, he actually shows a lot of compassion, which is, I think, really smart, because obviously the KGB were the bad guys during the Cold War, right? Or, you know, would have been the bad guys in these movies. But never once is this character looked at as a villain. Most of the time he ends up teaming up with Bond to say, oh yeah, that threat that you're dealing with, that would be bad for all of us. So I'll give you some leeway. I'll give you something that will give you, you know, but in this, he's actually kind of introduced as somebody who actually cares about his agent.
I agree with that part, but I also think that he is fanning the flames, hoping that she'll kill Bond at the end of it, because he's someone they wouldn't want around.
I don't know though, because he's all about the fostering of the Anglo-Russian relationship. He's all about it, man. What does he call it? The Anglo-Russian cooperation.
Yeah, that's
He like says it twice. He's like stoked about it.
He also is the only person, by the way, in any of these movies who names M by his actual first name. I don't know if you guys caught that.
I did not catch
M.
Right after M calls him Alexei, he calls him Miles.
Oh.
No.
Huh.
So yeah,
I did not catch that.
that
They're
actually
best
comes from Fleming's writings. That M's name was Miles.
Is Q's name Quentin?
No, Q stands for quartermaster.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Can we talk real quickly about the elevator shark slide?
Oh my God,
Because
that's
that
going
has
in
to
the
be
theme
that
park.
has to be a ride at the theme park, right? Yeah.
But and then you have a bunch of like inflatable sharks like waiting for you, like when you get into the pool.
There's
Yeah.
got to be at least one that has a freaking laser on its head too. There has to
With
be at least one.
frickin' lasers. I said that like 5 times while I was watching this.
Yes. Oh, so good.
Yeah,
On the elevator shark ride, they have to give you some metal teeth that you can pop the shark toys with when you're in the water.
yeah.
Yes,
And it
yes.
explodes in like, I don't know, raw hamburger or something.
Sure.
Or meatloaf. Just fill them full of meatloaf.
Cooked meatloaf.
Also,
Okay.
like that, the Atlantis is huge. Like you never get a really good sense of scale of that thing. But from all of the interiors of Atlantis, if you start thinking about the architecture of that place, it has to be massive.
Well, Stromberg does say this is the privilege of wealth.
Yeah.
That he can build this gigantic city underwater. But yeah, I mean, like if you start piecing it together, right? You're exactly right. It's like it's got a helipad.
Yeah.
It's got. I mean, yeah, it's nuts.
It's got like a huge aquarium with inside of it, right? Mm-hmm. Like because that shark, that room just with the shark is massive. Mm-hmm. And that's just one room. Yeah.
He probably got it cheap off of Blofeld.
Probably. Probably that's where he got all his henchmen.
Probably.
They're all like Spectre, you know, like they're all looking for job, unemployed.
They are pretty flunkies because there are a lot of those guys dead in that, and a lot of Navy guys still alive.
The only thing I could think of with all the henchmen, especially in the last act, is Venture Brothers.
Oh yeah,
that's all I could think of is the Venture Brothers henchmen. Yeah,
yes, they're just cannon fodder.
Oh, for sure.
You know what episode it makes me think of is the one where it was like sort of the Walt Disney World.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
yeah, but Yeah, Stromberg is. I think he kind of gets lost in Bond's and Triple X and Jaws's story. But Stromberg, there's a lot there that's kind of interesting. He's a
tell me what's
germaphobe.
interesting, because I can't get past him not having much of a motivation other than just wanting to live with the fishes. It's like,
Which he's doing.
yeah,
Well, yeah, he is.
but he wants to kill everyone else and then create
That
a
doesn't
world
make
under the
sense.
sea, but there won't be anybody. And he's already
He's
said
just-
that like a world under the sea is super expensive. So he's going to destroy the world's economy. He's not going to have any money to build this shit. Like,
Well, he's already
going to
got
have
it.
the resources to build this shit.
He's
Everyone's
already
gonna
got
be
it.
like, does he though?
Atlantis
he
is
built
it.
one. He built, yeah. So it's just going to be him and his henchmen. That's it. They're all going to live there,
Oh, I don't
or
think
select
it's
few other people.
Yeah, I think a select few other people. Like he wants Triple X there. You got to have some
Well-
eye candy in there.
Well,
He
yeah,
could
I
have
mean,
done.
who
He
wouldn't,
could have
but-
done this without ever bothering anyone.
Right, just like
Nobody would even know he's
sell,
down
sell,
there.
sell
He's just-
space.
He's
Yeah.
just a megalomaniac. I mean, like this is where you get into into the world.
I just think
of,
that
like,
this is the weakest thing about this movie is his motivations. They don't make sense. It's
They
very
don't.
it's very boilerplate Bond template for a villain. It's like we just have to have the sketchiest reason for him to want to destroy the world, and it's I don't know. It could be way better.
I mean,
But tell me the things. Yeah, this is your counterpoint. What is
mean,
interesting about him? Like tell me why.
well, one, he's an example of a character who's not trying to like. He's not being shifty about this. He's just a bad dude. And sometimes you just have a bad dude that has power and all the money in the world. And he probably owns Twitter too, but that's next movie. that's Moonraker.
I accept it if he's just a guy who wants to see the world burn. But
He doesn't
very-
even frame it that way.
But he does not frame it that way. The movie doesn't frame it that way, and he doesn't frame it that way. He wants everyone to live under the ocean, and it's just ludicrous.
And I mean,
We don't need to defend this.
it's not. It's just
we don't. We don't have to defend this to like the movie either. It
Yeah.
can just
It's
be
a-
what it is. But I
Yeah.
just don't think he's as interesting as you think he is.
Well, I mean that's fine, but I look at him as like this is a classic Bond villain.
Like I like Hugo Drax in the next movie way better.
Oh yeah, he's my number one villain. Period. Because he also has a lot of really good lines directed right at Bond.
Yes, he does.
But no, he. No, I mean I don't know. I think what I really was getting at was that there are things about Stromberg that they set up. Now, granted, do they really pay it off? Not that well. I mean, Caroline Munro is saying he doesn't want to shake hands, and Bond tests that because
Yeah.
I refuse to think the Bond is just like, I forgot that he didn't want to shake my.
Oh no, yeah, of
No,
course,
he's testing it.
he's testing that. Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think what I like about him is that first scene that we see him is, he dumps the secretary into the ocean, which she is kind of. I mean,
that's classic Bond villain shit, right there.
right?
That
Because
first scene.
she is
They set him
responsible.
up. They set him up in an amazing way. They
Right.
really do.
Because she is the person who created the microfilm that everybody goes after this,
Right.
for at least an act and a half.
Yeah.
And then he kills the two guys who designed everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
Just because,
just because, and he even's like, yeah, tell the family the burial was at sea. It's like, I've already buried him.
sea.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Ooh, that's evil. That's evil. Yep.
But no, I like that because like the two guys were like shaking hands, like, yeah, all right,
Yeah, we made it out. I love when they look at each other too. When they get into the elevator, they're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but we don't really have a choice. Yeah.
I do like that Bond instantly knew that there was a fake floor to the elevator. Like, he just knows that shit. He just knows that shit.
Well, it might as well be safe, right?
I mean, there's a line.
He was probably so delighted when he did see that there was a trap door. He was like, haha, fucking knew it.
You know what? He would be really good in that one competition in Survivor where you have to like be on the tiny pegs and hold yourself up.
I mean, he was in there for like 10 seconds. These people do it for like 30 minutes, Jeff.
That's fair. That's fair.
I would still.
That might have been a really slow elevator.
Bond. I would still take Bond though.
Well, yeah, because nobody does it better.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Nobody does it better. Jesus.
Like, if the real James Bond were on Survivor and you had betting odds, he's going to be the favorite.
Yeah.
Although maybe not. Maybe
I don't know. I mean, he would be
maybe
too busy.
he would be targeted by the tribe. They want to get him out of there.
He would be too busy sleeping with all of the women.
But yeah, his powers of seduction.
Yeah.
Now these days he would get slapped so fucking hard all the time.
But he's James Bond. I don't know. You
don't know. I mean, he wins
know.
over Russia's best agent.
He does. He wins them all over.
Because somebody wrote that to happen.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't
We're
know.
talking about reality.
Oh, you're
TV
saying
here.
Survivor isn't written to happen?
CBS is making sure Bond gets at least to the merge.
Probably. Put in some random game like in the middle of it to save him.
Like a sharpshooting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shoot these coconuts that are way the fuck over there.
Who can delve the deepest into the treasures of Cairo? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Speaking of shooting coconuts way the fuck over there, that is how Stromberg goes down. He gets shot in the dick multiple times.
Does. I have "shot in the dick" written very big in my notes.
He totally does. Yeah.
But anyway,
one for each nut, basically. Sorry.
Well, I think he's got like 3 or 4 nuts. Then,
unlike James Bond's giant copper testicle, he flies in on earlier in the movie.
Well, it's already been established that he has golden balls. 3 of them.
Yes.
Yeah. Or was it 4? I can't remember.
The
3.
So. Yeah, so basically, this is Stromberg knows that there's been microfilm taken of the blueprints of a supertanker that he's going to use to basically kidnap a Russian sub, an American sub, and a British sub, and then shoot at cities, basically.
Wait, I thought that the microfilm was of the machine that is able
That's on the tanker, I think.
Yeah. It's okay. But that the thing that's able to track the subs.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's yes. I'm sorry. That's what the blueprints are for.
Yeah.
And so, because the super tanker actually XXX finds out about the super tanker.
Yeah. Well, what happens? What happens is they find out about the super tanker. No, but even before that, though, they're led to Naomi and Stromberg because of a little bit of a logo,
right,
of Stromberg's shipping company.
But the super tanker is important,
the model,
because Naomi talks about it being sent to sea, not realizing that she's talking to somebody who can very much look up and see, did it ever actually leave a port?
Right.
Not realizing that, it's not. It's not what they say it's for.
Well, they track the trackers, because they track the super tanker. It's like the Busta machine from The Big Hit. I'll bust your Busta. I'll track your tracker. Yeah. Anyway.
Right.
I don't know what's happening on this.
Yeah, I don't know either. Really don't. But anyway, so they have to go and they need to find. So this is when Bond goes in and has a Lawrence of Arabia moment, and he meets up with an old college friend who happens to be an oil magnate who's like, if you spend the night here, I'll give you this bitch over here.
Right? That's a little
I mean,
No women just appeared when I did that, unfortunately.
Chuck just clapped his hands in the air.
I'm hoping people can hear. Can you hear that?
No,
very,
maybe
very
not.
faintly, very faintly.
Oh,
Yeah.
why?
No, yeah, so he's like, yeah, and when he's there, he's like, well, when in Egypt.
You delve deeply into its treasures. Yes,
Exactly.
Yes.
And I think he was specifically talking about that lady's boobs because those were just kind of right there.
I think.
Oh, he was
thinking
talking
of-
about the lady?
Yes.
Oh, I thought he went on an
not the
adventure.
pillows. Not the
I was-
pillows that would probably be adorning his bed.
I was
Yeah.
imagining part of her anatomy, but okay, could be both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know,
Dive
the
deep
boob-
into something that M would tell him he needs to pull out of immediately.
Yes, exactly right.
That could be either one. We don't know what Bond
Maybe
does.
Bond is just a tit guy. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, no, well, when the one girl shows up at the hotel, it's like, I've got a message to deliver. And he's like, I think you just did. Her
Yes.
boobies
yes.
are like hanging right out. And
is
Naomi
true.
is like all hanging out too. This movie is full of boobs.
Well, yes,
And
it
you've
is full
seen
of
them all
boobs.
in the opening title sequence.
And it's full of a bunch of characters who are insignificant that get summarily killed.
Yes, although
So his
one
Cambridge
guy,
buddy Hussein, he lives, but he sends him to meet Fakesh, who is
Yes.
supposed to lead him to Kalba.
right.
And both those dudes just get straight fucking murdered by Joss.
Well, yeah, but Bond has a really good cold-blooded murder himself in that scene. I love it when
The tie slap?
yes.
Oh yeah.
This is
Where's
excellent.
Fekish? Where's Fekish? And he's like, Cairo.
That's
What a
awesome.
helpful chat.
That's kind of I think that's got to be one of Roger Moore's most iconic moments, right?
There's another.
the-
and for your eyes only, he kicks the car off of the
Yeah,
assassin as a payback for killing a friend of his. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
That's
the
a-
tie slap is
The tie
awesome.
slap is
Yeah,
great.
that's fantastic because it's so well cut. It is like, I mean,
You know what it
first-
kinda-
That dude,
you know what it
Jeff, you
kinda
didn't read
like-
the backstory of this? He kills that guy.
oh,
Yeah,
no,
he's
but-
really dead.
yeah, he really
You
is.
didn't know
Yeah,
that?
that guy
You
is
don't
like
know that?
super dead.
You're the Bond enthusiast. You didn't know that?
Yeah,
You really killed
he's
that
it
guy?
right.
I did. I know.
No, but that's
Well, you know what it reminded me of later is the Billy Drago Kevin Costner scene in Untouchables
Oh yeah,
with the rooftop tie thing. It reminded me of that.
yeah.
yeah.
It's a cool scene. Very cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Damn,
but
that's cold as shit. Like that is using your license to kill. Like that is.
well,
bad.
no, but he uses it twice technically in that scene.
Yeah.
Because so he shows up at Fakesh's office looking for him, and he's like, there's a lady who just apparently is wearing a robe, and she's like, I've been told to keep you company.
Oh
And
yeah.
he's like, oh, fun, this is
Yeah.
good. But then she starts to get a little antsy, and he's like, oh, there's some guy over here that's probably trying to shoot me.
Yeah.
So human shield kills the girl and just throws her down.
Well, yeah. I guess. Yeah. I watching that scene. It's kind of ambiguous. I think as to whether
Doesn't
or not
matter.
she's dead or not. But yeah, he does
I
kind of
mean-
use her as a human shield. It's kind of.
I mean, he
messed up.
definitely throws her to the side and she flops down.
So who is she supposed to be? Is she supposed to be?
I think her and the other guy are not any. I mean, obviously the other guy is not anything about with Fakesh. I don't think she is either.
Who is she, Chuck? Who is she?
Okay, so she's Fakesh's girl.
I think so too.
She's misdirecting Bond, but she doesn't realize the killer, who is the guy that was sent with Jaws, is there.
yeah.
So she screams no when
Right.
she sees the gun. She's not setting him up. She
And then
just
Bond
can't
uses
give
her
him-
as a human shield, and it's fucked.
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
think
no,
he-
that is. It's Felicia Fakesh's glamorous associate,
Okay.
Yeah.
See, there we go.
Olga Becerra.
She just didn't know the killer was there. So when she screamed no when she saw
Bond's
the
just
gun,
like,
that's what tipped the Bond off.
He just used her as a shield.
I don't know if he necessarily does 100% because he doesn't know where the killer is when he turns. He's just turning.
I don't know.
It looks a little inadvertent. I agree with that too, but man, it works out.
but he does
And
throw
honestly,
her to the side like
it's
"Thanks."
also not clear that she gets shot either.
I don't think
They
it's
don't
clear
they
either,
don't make it
honestly.
they don't make it like apparent that she gets shot. So I think there's a lot of like left to the imagination going on there.
I agree with that.
Maybe. I prefer to think that, yeah.
Well, you can think whatever you want.
Yeah,
That's
you're allowed
why-
to think that.
That's why it's left to the imagination.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he used his human shield, killed her, threw her to the side, and then went up to the roof and finished the other dude off.
But yet you're mad at Superman for snapping Zod's neck. Come on.
Well, there's a difference.
I'm joking.
Superman doesn't have a license to kill,
joking.
goddammit.
I mean, he does.
That is true. That is true. Man, wouldn't that be, what if like Bond became a serial killer?
I mean, technically he is.
But I guess he kinda technically is.
But if he used his powers to just kill random
Yeah, what if he just
humans.
like while on missions he killed just everyone indiscriminately?
Okay,
Even
so
people
there's
he
a
didn't
movie
have
idea.
to. Yeah.
A super agent who's the most
a dark
important
Bond.
agent in the world, but while he's on his missions, kills people that live at home.
Exactly. Right. He does his missions, but he also does his own missions.
Dark
You know what I mean?
Bond.
Well, no, that's what he said.
Dark Bond.
Dark Bond would be Dark Bond has been done twice. I mean,
Has it?
GoldenEye or GoldenEye.
Well, but that was a Bond that became a supervillain.
Okay, well then
That's a little different.
Okay, then Skyfall.
Okay.
Because there's a whole conversation about how
Okay,
he was.
I buy that.
Where he was M's favorite, and now Bond is her favorite, and she's gonna leave you to die like she did me and stuff like that, and so he's twisted by that.
I would like to see like a David Fincher style movie about that character, because like just take it out of the whole, like it can still be in the Bond universe, but
sure,
but just like a tell the story of what was his name,
Silva,
because I mean he's of course Javier Bardem. I mean he's that guy plays a great serial killer.
Well, yeah,
yeah, one of the best. Anyway,
pretty much.
Sorry, a little bit of a tangent.
No, so so now he finds out the Fekish is in the pyramids.
Yes.
And he slaps his hand away, kills the actor, and then moves on to go to the pyramids. Now we got to talk about this pyramid scene.
It's great scene.
Great.
It's one of my favorite Bond scenes ever, quite frankly.
It's good. It is good. It's this movie. Can I just say this movie's shot really well too?
It is.
This movie is really, really using its locations.
Is it Claude Renoir? Is that who shot this? Yes, it is Claude Renoir.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So
It's his last movie. I think he was actually going blind when he shot this, if you can believe it. Yeah.
You can tell. I'm just kidding.
It's like pointed at the sun.
Focus.
It's like we didn't actually see Roger Moore. We just saw his silhouette on the dunes of the.
That's why Jaws keeps disappearing, because Claude wouldn't want.
Yeah.
Richard Kiel just fucked off.
It's like, we'll cut it together in post.
Yeah. Richard Keel's like, oh, they're serving at the craft, service table. I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
then it comes back and he didn't even know you left. But yeah, so like you got this whole bunch of white people just taking in some of that quaint local flavor of the pyramids in this big, massive light show.
Yes.
That apparently is still going on.
It's still going on. I looked it up. It's still going on
I hope
this day.
I hope it still has the over-dramatic everything.
I hope it's the exact same thing.
Yes.
Like, don't change it at all.
Yeah, no, don't change.
Don't even change it.
You're perfect.
It's called Sound and Light Egypt. And you can go to the website, soundandlight.show/en, and it'll tell you all you need to tell you. It'll tell you how much it is. It'll tell you how to book it. You can book tickets right now and go to Egypt and see this thing. It's awesome.
I wouldn't know how much it is.
What's fascinating about it is how like the the Sphinx is a lot smaller than you think it is. Like the scale of it, when you're looking at it and everything, it's not that big. Yeah.
No. Oh my God! Look at the picture. It is just like, oh my God! If
it looks the same, right?
Holy,
it's got the
shit,
green
that's
lights.
Expensive.
It's got the green lights.
How much is it? No, it's not. It's not. It's $20. It's $20.
I'm sorry, I didn't see the EGP 580.
Oh yeah, it's $20. It's $20. It's cheap, man. You can sit in a chair and you can watch it just like it went down in The Spy Who Loved Me.
Oh my God! If we all went in costumes, that'd be great.
Who's gonna go as Jaws?
You.
Okay.
Probably.
I'll be Triple X. That's fine.
I have to be the guy who fell off the roof, probably.
We have no Roger Moore. We have no Bond. It's fine.
Anyway, yes, it is amazing. I love this scene. I like the fact that they had all those people and extras, and they were shooting a fucking probably huge day on set, right? To shoot this thing.
Oh yeah, and some of it's composited, because they didn't have a master shot of Bond arriving there. So what they did was they had a picture. They had it of him peering around the corner. So what they did was they just freeze framed that and then composited it.
Okay.
With the rest of the background. So it was like, yeah, it's the whole thing. It was. I guess it was. I mean, again, these movies are lucky to have been made watchable because they do not hold back on saying it's like, oh yeah, this was a nightmare, or oh yeah, we just totally forgot to shoot a thing, or we bit off more than we could chew on this.
I think almost I think that can be said of almost every movie to some degree.
Right, but I mean, you never hear about that anymore. It's, you got to go buy these 20-year-old documentaries and hear about
it. Right.
You got to find the physical media.
I think in some ways every movie is a miracle. It really is. Like, unless it's produced by Disney.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, I think those movies just appear out of nothingness.
Yeah,
they just appear at the theater.
Out of the ether. They're just like Jaws. We got a movie.
Right. Yeah. Jaws. It's like new Invincibles or whatever, or Incredibles.
Yeah.
Story walks behind a pillar, ends up 3 stories above 2 seconds later.
Yep. He's like Michael Myers,
He kind of is. Yeah, it's kind of great. Richard Kiel is really good in this movie.
He is. I like that he's a physical villain with a gimmick, but he's also intelligent. He's smart. Yeah. Right? Like he's thinking things through. When he's got them in the back of the van,
he's listening
to them. He's like kind of smiling to himself. He's like, oh, I know how to deal with this. You know?
I'm going to take him to a thing that's going to be in a video game someday.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So basically, Triple X has beaten Bond to Fekesh, and Jaws has also arrived, and basically it's all, like, we got to go find out about Calvin. And Fekesh knows that there's people after him besides Ringo Starr's wife. It's
yeah.
Hey, I know you. You're married to Ringo Starr. Right?
And they are still married to this day. Isn't that great?
43 years or whatever. Yeah.
You just don't hear about those stories. Like that's just wonderful. 50-some years. 51 years. Yeah.
41.
41, sorry. 41.
Yeah. You just made us all very much older.
I don't math good. Yeah.
So anyway, so she, he's talking to her, making a deal to find out about Calba. Bond comes along, and then when Fekesh sees Jaws, he's like, I got to go run someplace that's going to be very easy for me to die.
What a dumbass.
Well, although I don't think he counted on Jaws being able to chew a giant chain link chain apart to get into where he is, to be fair.
Okay. He would have been safer in the thousands of people he was with.
He was probably safer with Triple X, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So yeah, so basically, this is Bond's first face-off with, and again, the lights, the way they use that to where it's like now Bond is face to face with Jaws for the first time.
Oh, every
Then
time they
Jaws
light up Jaws
disappears.
too, it's so
Oh yeah.
cool. It's with the music and the light on them. Oh man, it's very cool. Yep.
Well, and then they do it in a different way here in a minute. But so yeah, Bond discovers like, oh, Fikesh is already dead. That's not good. And so when he comes out, now who's standing there is Triple X. And he's like, he was like that when I got here. Yeah, it's like he totally did that. He's like that, just kind of like walked off. It's like that's it. But yeah, so he
Way to beat up a couple guys first, but
well, sure,
yeah.
because she has some goons that jump out because she does end up saying it's like they kind of overperformed or over something. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, she's lying, but whatever.
Oh, yeah, I mean, but she knows who he is anyway, so it's like, yeah, you got to get him off your.
Well, at this
trail.
point, there is no Anglo-Russian cooperation.
No,
so,
but they know who each other are, so she has a reason to attack Bond,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
at the very least,
For all she knows, it's
For escape.
the Brits are behind this whole thing. You know?
exactly. And as
Yeah.
far as he knows, the Russians are.
Right, exactly. They're playing on it. Yep.
Right. So yeah, that is kind of part of this whole plot of Stromberg's too, which is, it's like everything is led away from me as an, I'm just some rich asshole, but I'm setting the gears in motion where everybody's blaming each other. It's a little bit it's a little bit of a Blofeld move,
Yeah.
it's, yeah. So basically this leads to them going to the hookah bar or bar, I don't know, whatever. And they're going to meet with Kalba, who Bond gets to him first this time, just barely ahead of Triple X, who also, she has a figure that he's going to have a hard time matching. And that is true.
Yep. Yep.
Because he's going to make a bid on the microfilm. So they made it to the microfilm. But that pesky Jaws, man, he's still here too. So he catches up. He does the whole thing. It's like, yeah, dude has a call. He's got to go and talk to this, person on the phone. And Jaws Dracula's him to death. That's his move.
He does. It's like he's like the metal mouth Dracula. Yep.
Metal mouth Dracula, exactly. So he kills Kalba and takes the microfilm, and Bond and Triple X are like, man, that phone call's lasting a little while. Maybe we should go check on that. And they see Jaws running down the road. By the way, Richard Kiel running is fun. Because he hunches up his shoulders a little bit, and he's like, he's not.
He's a big lumbering man.
Exactly. He's not fleet of foot. Let's put it that way.
No. His grace would never be a word you would use to describe him. Yes.
No, he's a sledgehammer. Yeah. Yeah. So so that's when they jump in the back of his van, and they kind of talk about what's going on, and Jaws is listening to him, and he's like, okay,
I got you. Oh my God. All right. So he takes him to the ancient Egyptian place where there's like an excavation or something happening there. And he does his disappearing act again, but then he appears up on the rafters, and then he appears back down on the ground, and he hits them, and they're fighting, and there's like this whole basically eventually there's this whole gunplay thing. We don't need to go into all the bits and bobs here, but all the scaffolding falls down onto Jaws, and then Bond makes a quip, which I don't know if I love or hate. He says, Egyptian builders, in like this snarky way. And I'm just like, is that a joke? Is that supposed to be a joke? I don't get it.
No, yeah, it's a one-liner.
I know it's a one-liner. It's supposed to be like his one-liner, like, "Oh, I got the guy."
He's playing off of the fact that Egyptian builders are supposemaking so great, and he's like,
right.
"Oh," but so it's kind of like saying
it's kind of goofy.
Yeah, I mean, he's making.
The other guy would have never made this joke.
Right. Not the other guy. Yeah, the other fella.
The other guy. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Hey, but what the best part of the scene is when Jaws just starts ripping the fucking van apart.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're trying to get away in the van, and he's
she can't
ripping
drive
it apart.
It's so bad. It's
She's
so
grinding.
You don't like it? I love it. He's like pulling it apart, man. It's so funny.
Yes, I like it, but I like it because it's terrible.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's not realistic, but it's awesome.
It is awesome. Sorry,
he also I like
you either buy Jaws or you don't, right? I mean,
these are the moments of the Roger Moore era Bonds that made me totally confused when I eventually watched the older ones.
Right.
I'm like, Bond wasn't always like that.
We're so over the top in these. Yeah.
I mean,
there's no disrespect meant in that.
There was some. I mean, some of that stuff was always there, right? Like these bigger than, like they all had like comic book plots, right? Where which
one is Oddjob in?
It's Goldfinger. I mean, he's kind of silly. I mean, he crushes a golf silly. Ball to dust.
Goldfinger was. I mean, Oddjob's probably the first like really silly one, right?
Yeah.
And that was.
But like they I mean, but like.
Who throws a shoe, honestly?
But no, I mean, like all this stuff was always there. It's just when the times changed and the size of the movies changed, they had to bring some of that stuff to the forefront.
It just happened more often in the later
movies. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's like it just goes back to like what I was saying about like how it's like how can you take any of this seriously? You just kind of have to go with it, And
it's like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there, but it's like watching the Austin Powers movies.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's like the same joke is told over and over again, but in a bigger way in each film. And that, the Bond series has been going on so long.
I mean,
it suffers itself in a way.
It's almost
until Daniel Craig was like, or not Daniel Craig himself, but they reset that whole kind of thing, right?
I think it was reset after the Roger Moore era in a lot of ways.
Technically, yeah. I mean, you could say that. I mean, it's really, I mean, again, it's like to think of these as like sequels or any, I mean, like there are things that like tendrils that tie together. Like, when they're having their drink, when Calba's getting killed, she brings up the fact that he was married once, and he's like, he shuts that down. He doesn't want to talk about that.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's like stuff like that. And then in For Your Eyes Only, he's visiting Tracy's grave at the opening. So, like there's stuff like that where like, but the great thing about the Bond series is that you never have to watch the one before it.
Right, it's a series. It's not a sequential thing, but it's still trying to beat itself movie to movie.
Well, sure, it's trying to be bigger than the one
That's
before.
What my point was.
Yeah. And if you're going to be escalating like that, then you're going to have to sacrifice other things, which could be logic in some cases, or it could be
regardless, I think it's a fun scene. It's almost like a slasher movie scene, right? I mean, he's a force of nature, and there is no better representation of his physical prowess than him ripping this van apart. It's like punching through the fucking metal.
I disagree. I think beating up a shark and eating it is a better representation.
Well, but again, you have to escalate that to the end.
But you got to get to that. You got to get to that.
At this point in the movie, sure. Yes.
Yeah, at this point, you need
that
to
is amazing.
You have to know how much trouble he is, so that when you get on the train, then you are in real bad danger if you're in close quarters with him.
Oh my God! Which is a horrible shot when he shows up on the train.
Wait, you? You're kind of all.
The train.
You're all choppy. Hang on.
Yeah, you're cutting up, Jason.
Okay, try that again. Try that again.
All right, am I okay now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like a horror movie shot.
Yeah.
And he shows up on the train.
Well, they talked
it's
about that. Was
legitimately
like,
scary. Yeah.
well, yeah, because her reaction to that is actually kind of real.
Really?
Well, yeah, and then Richard Keel was kind of talking about like how watching it, he forgot that scene was shot, and when it happened in the movie, he said he jumped seeing himself.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's great.
but yeah, it's no, it is a yeah, but like all of that,
And then he bites that board. He bites the board like, just for fun. That like
yeah, and like this is one of those reaction shots that Roger Moore has, because we didn't really talk too much about the getaway in the van where he keeps trying to tell her how to get into like try reverse.
yeah.
And he's like, she's already struggling with it. And she's like, I don't need your shit right now. It's like, yeah, I don't need the shit right now. And then when she quips something to him, he kind of like very, very ever so slightly rolls his eyes at her. And he kind of does the same thing when he bites the board. He's like, all right, you're kind of exasperating your abilities here, bud. He's like, can we just get back to the fight? The guy who the stunt man, I think it was Bob Simmons, the stunt coordinator. He always doubled for Bond, but he doubled for Richard Keel when he went flying out the window in the train. He actually went through a real plate glass. He did it with real glass.
What?
Yeah, and he said that there's
it had to have been scored, but
yeah, I mean, but it was not candy glass or whatever.
Gosh.
Yeah, and so like they were like Roger Moore was like, I know they would never admit, but he had to be in real bad pain after that scene.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Why would you do real glass? That doesn't make any sense.
I guess just to make it look as good as possible for the window break. I don't know.
I guess I don't know.
It wasn't even exploding inwards. Like I would get it if you were getting the glass coming at the camera,
right?
But you don't even really see much of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy took it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
people light themselves on fire for movies, so whatever. Real glass, whatever.
Yeah. So yeah,
I'm joking, Jason. I'm joking.
Dude, seems super dangerous, man.
So yeah, so they do eventually get
there's no glass retardant skin, man.
No. So they do finally get the
Jason's contributions the rest of this movie are going to be glass related.
Glass
I'm
related.
Calling it now.
That's all you're gonna get. Yep.
Administration. Yeah. So they do finally get the microfilm, and Bond looks it over while they are going to take a slow boat to Cairo up the Nile. Or I guess technically down the Nile. Whatever. Anyway,
I'm a Nile enthusiast, so I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. But Bond looks at it and it's like, this doesn't make, like, he can't make heads or tails of it. But Triple X kind of fucks with him a little bit here. She like acts like, oh, I'm cold, and it's like, oh, let's preserve body. I'm gonna smoke this cigarette and blow this stuff and make you fall asleep, and I'm gonna be long gone by the time you wake up again. And this is one of those scenes where they use the Nobody Does It Better with the guitar sound.
Yeah,
that's really, really nice.
It is really nice that when he walks into what I can't remember the dude's name. I'm sorry. The Soviet KGB guy.
Oh, Gogol.
Yeah, and he thinks he's going to see M. It's so good. It's so good.
Well, yeah, because it's like, well, what's this? It's like, because you're right. It's like he doesn't know that they've teamed up.
Right.
In the meantime, since he was asleep on the boat, Triple X has gone ahead and met with General Gogol, and they have met with M and MI6, and now that's here we go. You got your Anglo-Russian cooperation now.
Yes.
And Bond shows up, and it's like, yeah, you're right. He sees General Gogol, and he's like, oh no, it's not good. But then, like, him and Moneypenny are like, hey, we're here too. It's cool.
Well, he walks by Moneypenny to get in there.
That's right.
Which makes it even weirder.
Yeah.
Like, did the Soviets take over our operation?
Yeah, it's like, how long was I asleep?
Yeah.
And then, but then M comes out, and it's like, oh, glad you made it. You know, way to go. And then this is where Triple X tries to be like, aha, I outsmarted you. And he's like, yeah, it's useless. I've already looked at it.
I already examined it on the boat. It's just a taste.
Yeah. And she actually is the one who actually cracks it when Q blows it up. She notices that it was photographed on top of something that had the
coin. Yeah, the coin.
Or the logo of Stromberg, fisheries or whatever. And she's like, yeah, that's a fish. And that's Stromberg. And it's like, and like Q's like, Stromberg's a rich guy. He wouldn't do anything bad. Okay, dude. I'd like to see a for real Bond movie where like they don't just assume that the rich humanitarian is always doing the good things. That'd be hilarious.
You mean where Bond goes around killing humanitarians?
Well, no, he's
just a serial killer.
He's a serial killer, just often millionaires and billionaires left and right. It's like, you're up to no good.
Listeners can't see this right now, but I'm pretty sure Jason is studying the properties of glass.
It's true. It's true. It's true. I'm looking up scoring techniques and weighing that against the probability of a cut. Yep, that's exactly right.
I love it.
He does his homework here.
Yes, he does.
So basically they know now we need to go and see that Stromberg guy. So they Q gives them the it's like, oh, he's got a thing in Corsica. We got to go to Corsica.
Yeah.
So they go to Corsica, and Q drops off the Lotus Esprit. Now, interesting thing about that. Those cars,
it's not a Ford Probe?
It is not.
Oh, really?
Those Lotuses.
Looks just like a Ford Probe.
Yeah, all right. Keep telling yourself that if you're driving a Ford Probe out there. You go, yeah. But no, the thing is, those particular Lotuses were made by hand, one at a time, like one every like month or something like that.
And they were torn apart one hand at a time by Jaws.
Could be.
Sorry.
So they figured out, it's like, okay, we got one. They quickly realized that as they were shooting, we actually need two. And they go back to Lotus, and Lotus like, we can't build you another one. We don't have another one. It's like, we could build it for you, but it'll take some time, and we're not going to throw our rest of our, production line off for that. And I was like, well, the guy who runs Lotus, he's got one. He's like, he's not going to let you borrow. They called him, and it's like, yeah, you can borrow mine. And so, yeah, the guy who ran Lotus, one of his like prestigious, like one of a kind car, is a double for the other one of a kind car.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
It's like the greatest advertisement ever for your brand.
Exactly.
Of course you would do that.
One was already in it, but
and then but I mean they need to continue to have it in it.
Right.
Did they destroy one of them? Jeff,
no.
Do you know that part of it?
No. I mean, anything like that would have been a
I'm just wondering why they need two.
No, I think it was just the way that the scenes had to be shot. They couldn't use both cars because I think it had to be shot at the same time or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but they said that they needed two shooting versions. The one that went underwater was a fake chassis, I think, but it turning into the sub, they said that each and every part that you saw that turned inward or popped out or whatever, those were all different props.
Yeah.
So they weren't just one car that did all of that stuff. It was like, here's a close up of just this section.
It makes sense. They probably had like molds of it, and they
Wait, that wasn't a transforming car? No. You guys are destroying the illusion.
all of the illusion. Yeah.
Well, again, but like they did.
Well, if you want to know news and Bond villainy, that car was purchased by real life Bond villain Elon Musk.
Of course it fucking was.
For real? For real?
Yeah, for real. In 2013,
That's
it was purchased by real life Bond villain Elon Musk, and he vowed to restore it and make it a true, like, dual purpose.
Yeah, good luck.
And sea car.
Yeah, good luck.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
Well, might as well.
He's not going to do it. Somebody else is going to do it, and he's going to take the credit.
He's already lost like $20 billion on Twitter. Why not lose another $20 billion on making a submarine car?
I'm pretty sure it's 40, but Jeff,
Well,
it might have been
almost 40.
Yeah,
Almost
Jeff,
40
it was
billion.
50%. Whatever the 50% was. Yeah.
the moment that Elon Musk arrived was the moment you should have started taking your training.
I know.
Like, so you can shoot coconuts real far away and stuff like that.
Sure.
Because I would like to shoot his coconuts.
Double R-buckle. Yeah, you could shoot his coconuts when he harpoons you through a tube. Like, you should be training for this.
Yeah, I know. I should have been. I mean, I've been telling you guys since the beginning. He's Hugo Drax. I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here? What is this? Anyway,
He doesn't scare me, but I get it.
oh, he doesn't
I get
scare
it.
me because he's a fucking moron.
I mean,
I mean,
the Skylink stuff scares me.
that's scary because he. Yeah. But that's. I mean, but like. Anyway.
Yep. Anyway, another time.
X. That's stupid. Anyway. This movie has triple X, so that's much better.
And triple X, indeed.
So anyway, so yeah, they go to the Stromberg place. They meet Naomi. Now Bond and Triple X are posing as husband and wife. And the moment that Roger Moore sees Caroline Munro, like that the whole cover story is dropped. It's like, it's like, wow, I'm just gonna stare at her the whole time. Don't worry about me saying that I'm married to this lady over here. I'm just gonna stare at Naomi this whole time from here.
I didn't even catch that. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is, because she shows up and the first thing he says is the triple X, which is like, oh, what a handsome craft or whatever, talking about her body.
Right.
And then when they're on the boat going to Atlantis, he's just staring directly back at Caroline Munro, who's diagonally behind him. He's just looking at her. And it's so funny because like Caroline Munro was an actress already at this point. She had been in 2 or 3 Hammer films at this point.
Yeah, she's shown up a lot for me lately. She's Dr. Phibes' wife. And the abominable Dr. Phibes. Yeah.
Yep. Although she just sleeps through that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway,
she's really not in it very much. Yeah.
Right.
I think she's like even uncredited actually. Yeah.
Yeah. But then like she was not hired because she was an actress. She was hired because she was an ad model for like this specific whiskey or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, where she was always like wearing like a wetsuit and she was like carrying a harpoon or had a knife on her or whatever. And apparently Cubby Broccoli saw it and it's like, bring her in, and instantly hired her just from ads. Like hadn't seen, there was no indication that he had ever seen anything she had done acting wise.
That's weird decision, but sure.
Well, that's how these things work. She was.
I'm sure there was something that happened behind the scenes.
She was dubbed though to have that specific accent. But yeah. Anyway, so Bond goes to meet Stromberg. She tells him so he doesn't like to shake your hand. Bond tries it anyway. It's like, oh wow, so I guess he doesn't like to shake my hand. And he basically tells her, it's like, yeah, look after my wife. And when he leaves that meeting with Stromberg, which he doesn't really learn too much other than he does show off that he has studied his role as a marine biologist in this cover story, by talking about like one of Stromberg's fish being poisonous.
Another callback to the earlier movie, sorry, Inner Majesty's Secret Service.
Yep. And so he, and like Stromberg's like, oh, you really know your thing.
Because you really know your thing.
Yeah, you really know your stuff. And like Bond's like, fuck yeah, I do. And then he leaves, and then like the goon comes in, it was Jaws, comes in, and it's like, yeah, those are the guys, right? It's like, yeah, they can get back to the land, but then kill them. But before we get there, when he comes out of the elevator, the shark chute, he comes out to hearing about this tanker. And Naomi says, we just launched it like a couple of months ago or whatever it was. And of course, Triple X is like, yeah, it's not the largest tanker, though. The Karl Marx is. And, you know, and like Bond's like, fucking cut that shit out.
Yeah, you're going to blow our cover. Damn
it. Listen, tanker enthusiasts, it's enough out of you.
Stop it with the Russian shit.
We are clearly not a Russian and British spy. It doesn't really matter. He already knows. But I do love when they get back to land, the chase. I love how that escalates too, because it starts off with a guy with a little side pod that's actually a missile. And then he gets rid of those. He gets rid of that guy, and then a car comes out with Jaws.
Yeah,
and they try to get him, but they send them off of a cliff and into a guy's house. He's like, "Oh, Mamma Mia!"
And Jaws is like indestructible.
Yeah, and right? That continues in Moonraker.
He doesn't die. Like, he doesn't die.
Does he die in Moonraker?
No.
Wow.
In fact, he turns into a hero.
Yeah, he does become a hero.
Oh, yeah.
It is left uncertain if he died, because like he and his new lady friend are like fucking careening towards Earth. But you have to assume he lived, and he's probably like working for the British government or something now. But anyway, because of course, why not? So and like they send them off, and then Naomi comes with the helicopter, and so that's when they have to go into the water to get away from the helicopter. And Bond has a little missile, like a little water to air missile.
He also has something he can shoot the helicopter with.
Yes. He's getting all of his missiles wet.
Yep. You gotta pull out now, Bond.
Immediately.
Right now. So he fires off, and it destroys the helicopter. So no more Caroline Monroe. But now there are guys in the water who have little handheld missiles.
I mean, those are real, like, water, like shit you use for marine biology expeditions.
Not
those
the missiles.
Little propellers. It wasn't a missile. It's a little propeller.
Well,
thing.
no, but they're shooting. They do shoot missiles.
Oh, yes.
Torpedoes at them.
Yes,
yeah.
They have torpedoes. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying they were riding missiles.
No. Oh, my God. I mean, they probably should be riding those missiles. I mean, that
Dr.
would really...
Strangelove shit would be pretty rad.
Yeah. But no, they so yeah, and they have to get rid of those guys. But then they come up out of the water. Now, there is a recurring joke that happens in the next two movies. So when they come out of the water, there's a very specific featured character that is drinking wine on the beach and then does a double take. That guy was and they were like, I don't know how they knew him, but the guy's name is Victor Torjansky. And he was a filmmaker that they just knew. Somebody on set knew, and they're like, hey, just, come in, be in the scene, do this double take. And then he ends up again on the streets of Venice in Moonraker, doing basically the same thing when Bond does something insane. And then he is in the skiing scene in For Your Eyes Only. And so there's like a little trilogy of this guy always showing up where shit is going down. And he sees Bond do something like insane.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, that was just just a little in joke that they put in. Yeah. And so that's so at this point they basically figure out what's that there's this tanker.
Yeah, we need to get to the tanker.
Yeah, so the tanker, so they say, well, they investigate the tanker because there was something off about it because it was so big. It was like 100 million tons that it can carry or something like that. And so they start to investigate that, and they find out this tanker has never left an official port. So we don't know what this is, but it's not used commercially. It's never come in and it's never left a port. So then this is when Triple X discovers that Bond killed Sergei at the beginning. And she was like, if it's like, just know we're going to do our mission. And at the end of it, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And he has his old thing about like, this is, what we do is these are the risks that we have to take. And he had to know that just as much as you know that, and just as much as I know that, basically.
And he was trying to fucking kill me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like kill or be killed. That's the rules,
It's not live and let die. It's kill or be killed.
Exactly. I'm surprised that there has not been a parody or some sort, like some shitty
or an actual Bond movie called Kill or Be Killed.
That's true. That is true. So there's a little bit of tension now, but they figure out it's like, okay, well, if we get on the American sub, that is probably going to be the next target for the super tanker, then we'll be able to get into the super tanker, find the thing that's figuring out how the where the subs are going,
get captured and find the trekker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's get into that tanker, because they were trying.
It's insane. It's insane.
Oh, it is, because they initially wanted to film on an actual tanker, but what they found out was
they already blew it up.
No, well, I
was joking,
but there's part of that there that is true. They said, well, you could. The problem is that these tankers have such a heavy residue from the oil that they ship that it is constantly filled with fumes. It may not be at a deadly level, but somebody could be walking in with just a lit cigarette and the whole thing would just fucking explode.
Woo!
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, that's right out. So we got to figure out now how we can shoot this. So they looked at hangars. They've tried to figure out, it's like, is there any sound stages, anything? And they're like, nope. And so Albert Broccoli was like, all right, well, hey, Pinewood, we need a new, soundstage built. And that's when the 007 stage was built.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it benefits Pinewood that was built, because a ton of big movies were shot there later on. So
it's that stage or that set is incredible.
It really is.
And the amount of explosions they did within it is incredible.
Well,
like, I don't know if I've seen that many. I know the explosions don't take whatever, but there's so many explosions in the last 30 minutes of this movie. It is incredible.
Yeah.
It's wild.
If you really look at the depth of that soundstage, all the shit that is going on way at the other end that you're seeing off in the distance compared to what's going on right in front.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it is so, like, it's unbelievable. It really is.
It's like a football field length or something.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah. And I mean, they built a little stream in there so that they could, then they had like replicas of the fucking, the tops of submarines in there. I mean, that thing is huge.
Yeah, it's ginormous.
And it's I think it was Katerina Kubrick who said it's like it is truly one of those things where it's like it is so much bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. It's like you just go in, you cannot believe how
The depth
long, yeah, the depth of it is. It just feels like it goes on forever.
Well, I don't know how much of what actually happens here we need to discuss in detail, but Bond and Alamava, am I saying that right? Something like that. They get captured. Gort, I can't even remember his name. I shouldn't be the one leading this. I always do this to myself. Gogol,
Yeah.
takes her with him to his
No.
ship.
Stromberg.
Stromberg, thank you.
Yeah. They get discovered. So it's like, okay, well, we need to take, they're going to, like, Bond's going to die with everybody else anyway, so don't worry about him. I want the girl. I'm taking her back to Atlantis, where I'm basically going to instruct all my goons from Atlantis.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to say. But Bond has other ideas, right? He kicks over like 13 missiles or little torpedoes, which take out all the people that are trying to attack him.
Oh, yeah, these goons are the worst goons.
Yes. He liberates all the people from the submarine. And there is the most ridiculous grenade fight I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bond says, let's get to the
grenade fight. It's
a grenade fight.
I know, but that term does not get said nearly enough.
Probably not. But he said, let's get to the armory.
Yeah.
So I assume they've been there because they have all these fucking grenades, but they hadn't been to the armory yet. Where the hell did they get all these grenades? I mean, it's something like these grenades just appear. No, they get to the armory later.
No, I think it's when they killed some goons, they turned into grenades, like in a video game.
Oh, okay.
It's like, and then they load it up. Yeah.
It is kind of weird. Like everyone they took out, they took 4 grenades off of.
Yeah.
But man, the number of grenade tosses in there with like reckless abandon. It's
Totally,
like, I don't care if I die. I don't care if I die.
Two of their own guys are fighting like orange suit guys, and they're throwing grenades at them. Yeah.
Yeah. Or they just hand grenades to each other while they're standing next to each other. Like it's
Here you go, guy. Take this. It's like a game of hot potato.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's another issue though. It's that there's like a nuclear warhead that they need to deal with.
Well, Bond needs to get the igniter or this whatever it's called from the nuclear warhead so they can blow up the wall to get to the control room.
Because the goons in charge of the other lesser goons in the boats are barricaded.
They lock themselves in the control room.
And they radio to Stromberg. It's like it's impregnable. That you just never say that in the movie. But then when you look at the door, it's just like those shutters that you see at like the fucking mall, like when a store closes. It's just like that flimsy shutter shit.
Yeah,
it's like if Bond's gonna get through that.
That scene where he takes the ignition thing out, or the starter, or the trigger, or whatever the hell it's called, and he's like, "It's magnetic."
Yeah,
and if it hits the side of this thing, it's gonna blow up. It's like 25 minutes long.
Yes. And it's great, and it's tense, and I love the sound effect of it. Oh my god! Oh no! That was copied in Octopussy when he gets to the circus dressed as a clown. Anyway, there's a thing
he has
to do a thing with the thing there, and yeah, it's
Grace Slick is an Octopussy, not Grace Slick. Grace Jones is an Octopussy, right?
No.
Which one is she in?
View to a Kill with Christopher Walken.
Yes.
She's View to a Kill. Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Continue.
Anyway, so he's got to get that so that he can go and blow up the door. That is just, I mean, a grenade probably would have taken out that door, but whatever. Because it just looks like those shutters. Anyway, so they go and they get the igniter and they set a 30-second fuse, to which Bond confidently says 20 seconds. It's not even 30 seconds, 20 seconds. He's like, yeah, 20 seconds. It'll be good. It'll be fine. And then, of course, he can't like quite get away from it. It's like, oh my god, the clock is a ticking here. But they get in, blows up the door. They get in, and at this point, they have to tell the two boats to not shoot at New York and London or whatever. Shoot at each other, which you got some grade A dumb goons in those boats. When they get their new orders,
they just do what they're told.
Yeah, well, they get new orders like, hey, we got a new target. They don't question it. They don't realize that the target.
They don't look at the locations of their other boat. Yeah,
they don't look. It's like, wait a minute, that's our boat. They just do it. And that's great. I mean, good help is hard to find. But anyway, they they end up, and they can see it on the globe, the big giant globe in the middle of the control room, which that's also great. I love that. Makes no sense. I love it though, because you actually they track the missiles flying, and they miss each other. That's good. That would have been bad, but it wouldn't make any sense on a globe to see that happen.
Oh, their trajectory is terrible.
Yeah, that would have been like the most that's a 1 in a trillion chance. Those two rockets hit each other. Yeah,
I don't know. They have the same destination. They're on the same precise mechanism for firing.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I don't think the chance is that bad. But
all I know is that the Atlantic Ocean is fucked.
Why would it? Yeah, I would think it would have been better if they took out themselves in the sky.
It would probably have been less of an environmental catastrophe.
Well, 1977, nobody knew what they were doing.
Superman could have came and took him and threw him at the sun or something.
Well, you could have punched them in the side and then just broken.
Well, like the dummy I am, I'm watching. I'm thinking, well, what about the third one? Because the
third one's still in the.
I know. I figured that out later, but I'm watching. I'm like, well, what about the third one? They should all be three of them, because they show three of them on the radar, but
one of them's the tanker.
The third one is the tanker. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I got there eventually, but I'm watching. I'm thinking like, fucking hey, man, there's 3 submarines. Yeah,
that's the one that.
I know.
Well,
I know. It's still in the tanker. They escape in it later. Yeah.
Well, because everybody piles into
I was confused.
Everybody piles into the Russian sub to get away from the exploding tanker.
Spread the word. That cracked me up when the guy yelled, "Everyone to the submarine! Spread the word!
Spread the word!"
It's like we're in high school. What is that?
So, but Bond now learns that they're going to go destroy the Atlantis. Which, I agree. You go take that out too. But he's like, wait a minute though. That hot Russian lady is in that. I got to go get her.
The Spy Who Loved Me is on that.
Yeah, and I need to go on a fucking jet ski and go get the lady.
Oh my God.
So he jet skis in, and the only 3 people that are in Atlantis are Triple X, Stromberg, and Jaws.
Yeah.
That's all that's left. That's all there is. So then he goes in, he meets Stromberg, and Stromberg's like, oh, hey, you like a Russian lady, huh? And he's like, I'm going to try to harpoon you in the butt.
Yeah, have a seat.
Yeah, and Bond's like, there's a tube here, dude. It's like, what do you think? You think I'm an idiot? And Stromberg's like, yeah. And he's like, no. And he dodges the one thing, and then he goes up and he shoots him many times in the balls.
Yeah.
Many times. And that's great. I always love a good, interesting death in a Bond movie. And getting shot in the balls sure is interesting.
And then he keeps shooting them.
Yes, he doesn't stop.
No,
he
very
hates
mad
that
at
guy's balls.
Yeah.
It would have been great if Stromberg's like, why do you hate my testicles?
And then we have what is probably the most Austin Powers moment I've seen in a Bond movie.
Oh, yeah, because Jaws goes in one door and comes out another one that shouldn't be connected.
Yep, that.
It's like this turned into an episode of Benny Hill.
Yeah. And then he gets his face magnetized to a magnet.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. Well, after getting shot in his teeth.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Bond is so
Yeah.
good.
It dings right off of his teeth. Yeah.
He's so good, he makes the worst possible decision.
Right.
Like, why
by
would he
shooting
shoot him in the teeth?
Yeah, shoot him in the head. Shoot him.
Let's shoot him
I
in
don't
the
think
one
he's
place he
aiming
can
for his
deflect.
teeth. I mean,
Well,
that's-
Jeff was insinuating he's that good.
He hits coconuts way the fuck
it's
over there.
It's a bit of a tough shot. I mean, he got him.
They're
in
like
the
10
teeth.
feet away from each other.
He got him in the teeth, though. I mean, like seriously, a couple inches lower or higher, he wouldn't have hit him in the teeth. It's a tough shot.
Not for
Anyway,
Bond.
so he dumps him in the he dumps him in the Shark Tank, and this is where Jaws kills Jaws.
It's
Apparently,
amazing.
it is a tough shot for Bond because he hit him in the teeth.
I think he was aiming for that, which is what Jeff was
You would
saying.
never aim for the teeth. You would never aim for the teeth.
It's almost like they wrote a script that's like, well, what would show Jaws? As
You
being
always aim
that
for the
much-
brain.
Okay, but like I think they were just sitting there, and it's like, okay, what would still show Jaws as a problem? Well, you shoot him in the face, and he blocks it with his teeth. There it is. He tried to shoot him in the face, and he blocked it with his
Maybe
teeth.
he just moved into it with his teeth.
You're definitely exemplifying here a problem with these Roger Moore Bonds.
That are awesome.
But
they
they're
are
fun.
awesome, but they don't care about Bond as a character. In a lot
because
of ways. It's like,
there's nothing more that needs to be really examined with the
It's
character.
all archetype.
yeah, but he does dumb
It's all
shit.
archetype.
He does dumb shit for the sake of being cool in the movie, like shooting him in the teeth to show Jaws' strength is detracting from Bond.
This is like the 10th Bond movie, and if you've seen the 10th Fast and Furious movie, you know some dumb shit's going to happen. And
Yeah,
you just
but-
have to ride with it, man. You just gotta get in there and you
But
just
the
gotta ride.
first Fast and Furious is probably worse than most Bond movies.
Oh, every other
start.
movie is worse than the worst Bond movie. I mean,
Well, no, but
that might be your opinion.
anyway, Jaws eats a shark and
Yes, he
swims
does.
away. And
Yeah.
swims away.
And he swims
like
away.
King Kong at the end of Godzilla versus Kong.
Exactly. King Kong's like him. Jaws like I'm out. And so the whole place starts to explode as Bond tries to get away with Triple X, and they and they get into the escape pods, and it's a luxurious little escape pod. I mean, it's like a little ball.
Yeah, it's not an escape pod, it's an escape pod.
Exactly. Because there's fucking champagne in there.
We're gonna go. Nah, we need to go.
It's Dom 52. Which was the Dom in
Toretto?
yeah, no, Dom Perignon.
The Dom
You
that didn't
said
exist.
the one in Majesty's Secret Service it wasn't actually a
56,
year.
57, 58 didn't exist.
Okay, so this was a Dom 52.
I think
so. That
probably
existed.
exists.
It did. I looked it up because I remembered Jeff saying that.
Nice.
Anyway, so they escape, and she's like, "All right, mission's over. I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to get you." And he's like,
Gonna
"Oh,
get you.
oh no!"
Get you.
And then she just shoots the cork out of the champagne, and then they get drunk and they screw, and they get found by their bosses.
Wait a
just
minute.
keeping up the British end, sir.
Yeah.
I don't want to belabor this by saying this, but she didn't shoot the cork. The cork just shot, and it surprised him.
I didn't think that she shot the cork either.
She is holding the guy. I think it's meant to imply that.
I think it's implying that he was surprised by the pop,
Yeah.
Yes.
thinking it was the gun.
But yeah, she was like, "Nah, I'm just fucking with you."
He was startled.
Let's
Yeah.
let's get out of these wet things.
Our
Let's
bosses
let
are
dead
never
spies-
going to know.
Let's let dead spies be gone. I don't know, I'm trying to find the
Nailed
pun
it.
there. Sorry.
Nailed it.
You got it. Perfect. Why aren't you writing these movies?
Yeah.
Let spygons
He's busy.
be spygons.
Yeah, there you go.
There it
There
is.
you go. It
That's
just
what I was
takes your
trying to
time
find.
sometimes.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to find.
Jason's been writing the Taken series for years. So he needs to come back to Bond-like films.
Yeah. Anyway, the movie is a massive success. It probably launches. I mean, it launches into the next several movies that Roger Moore has, and I mean, like they become events at this point. They were solid, good movies before. They're now event movies. And the let's see here. No, the movie gets nominated for 3 Oscars: Best Original Song, Best Original Score, Best Art Direction. As amazing as that set is, I kind of don't fault the Academy for giving the art direction to another movie.
What one?
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Oh,
I'm
Star
guessing.
Wars 77. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah, so you can kind of see, and score
Yeah.
also lost to Star Wars. Okay, fine, I guess.
Yep.
That score
The
for
song-
Star Wars is pretty amazing.
It's iconic. I mean,
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
over.
I guess.
I'm over it. I'm over it at this point in a lot of ways because I've heard it so many times.
It's fine.
Fucking
It's
great.
fine. The song lost to "You Light Up My Life."
Ew.
Yeah.
You light up my life. That one.
Yeah,
Who does that?
that's a robbery.
That was
Art Garfunkel or some
no,
shit.
well, music and lyrics by Joseph Brooks. It was sung by
You
Debbie Boone.
life. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's unfortunate. The movie does advertise that Bond is going to return in For Your Eyes Only, but then they were like, "No, let's do Moonraker." That sounds like much more fun.
I mean, they weren't lying. He did
They got to
come back.
capitalize on
Well,
that.
he did, yeah,
Star Wars.
yeah.
I, guess,
mean,
that
there
makes
is-
sense. I wonder if that is the decision there.
It is their decision.
I mean, yes and no. Technically, it was. I mean, like, it was a
Well,
situation.
they said it was going to be For Your Eyes Only in the credits. They said
Right,
it
but
was
I
gonna
mean,
be.
but like the yes, is Star Wars success led to Moonraker being considered as the next movie. Really, though, the thing is that the movie is a little bit. I mean, again, this is Stanley Kubrick kind of specter hanging over the Bond series. It is visually much closer to 2001, but yes, I mean, from a business perspective, absolutely, you got to point to Star Wars, but in the
It's
actual
just space. It doesn't matter what it looks like. They're
right, and
Space is amazing.
And there's laser guns and shit.
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, the actual production influence was more 2001. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, Spy Who Loved Me, good stuff.
What is the next Bond movie we are talking about?
Oh, this it's a personal big time favorite of mine. License
Jason's
to Kill.
too, right?
Yeah, he likes it too quite a bit. Yeah,
I
License to
do
Kill.
like this one.
Yeah, so we're moving to 1989. It's time for Timothy Dalton. There's going to be a lot to talk about with Timothy Dalton in general going into that because obviously he was not originally meant to be Bond, and he almost wasn't Bond too. There's a lot that can be talked about on that perspective. But a very early role for Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
So, and you got Robert Davi in it. You got Anthony Zerbe, and yeah, it's a fun cast. It definitely takes us away from the more tongue-in-cheek Bond and much more into a serious Bond, and that's not too bad. That's not too bad. So yeah, so that is next Wednesday, License to Kill from 1989. You can listen to that at filmseizure.com or at a number of podcast providers. We're on SoundCloud, Apple, Google, all the places. You can
All
go
the
to film.
places.
Yeah, you can go to filmseizure.com and find out where those places are. You can also find out where you can follow us on the socials, like your Facebooks, your Instagrams, your Threads, those types of places. Also, in all of those places, this Monday is a new Monster Mondays. I'm going to be talking about Mimic, the first American film by Guillermo del Toro. I guess next week's going to be all about the Toros.
Yeah.
So,
Benicio and Guillermo.
Yep. So that will be Monday afternoon, November 20th. Start your Thanksgiving week off right with some Mimic and some James Bond. Anyway, my website, bmovieanima.com, this upcoming Friday has a review of Kitten with a Whip, starring Anne Margaret.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, you can read that at bmovieanima.com. And so I think we've done the business. We have done the business. It's a good movie. It's good.
Yes.
I like this movie a lot. I like next week's movie even more. And good times ahead. So until next week, I am Jeff Arbuckle.
I'm a piece of glass.
And is Jason going to fly through it?
Yeah.
He can't.
He's not flying. He's not flying.
I just got stunned by broken glass from that comment. My name is Jason Oliver, and you have been listening to Film Seizure.